Awesome. Great.
If only you knew the half of this.
Was it stressful?
Oh my God, John.
Was planning? You mean to tell
Planning
me
something with Corey
planning
was
something with
stressful.
Corey is stressful?
I don't know if you knew that.
You mean to tell me?
Welcome
it's
to
all-
A Great Depression, a podcast for every mall rat transport backpack emo kid struggling with the boredoms of everyday adult life. Shaun Sweeney, best friend, in the studio. Hit the music.
You're just a punching bag. You can't even fight back. You're just a punching bag. The words are what you like.
Today, we are broadcasting from the Union Fitness Studios. Union Fitness, more than a traditional gym.
Mhm.
It's a place where
This
you
is
can...
Awesome.
It
Sorry
is
to
pretty
interrupt.
cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so sick.
It's really cool.
I wish I lived closer. I would definitely join. Actually, I'll still even think about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Union Fit is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out based around a variety of classes like yoga, fitness, performance training. Union Fit, they believe it's their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. So go to unionfitness.com today. Sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength. And there's no greater strength than two people who have attempted to plan things with Corey McLean, live with Corey McLean in their life, and consider him a best friend.
Right.
Yeah,
It's-
there's no greater bond
But you get
than
results.
that. You get something.
You get
You
results.
get some insanity along the way.
It might not be the results you were looking for whenever you first started.
Just coming out ahead at all times. That's the motto.
Right.
Oh my God.
Like, there were so many ideas that Corey has whenever you're trying to plan something with him, like the McCleany games, for example, whenever we had the whole...
That is Shaun's bachelor party,
Yes.
where he forced every one of his guests to compete in some kind of mix of like Double Dare, Legends of the Hidden Temple
Yeah.
with like Jackass.
Actually, I'm so glad that you said Legends of the Hidden Temple. That was
Yeah.
really a big inspiration.
it was a
behind
big.
this.
There were no temple guards.
No,
there was
you
no
were the
life
temple
pendant.
guardian.
I was the life pendant and the temple guard.
Josh, your host, Josh, speared, tackled, was violent, committed crimes, all as a part of this.
Just
this
against
game.
Jeff.
And you stole a car.
No. Jeff stole a car. I jumped in the back of the car
Yeah.
because I wanted to win.
Not many people get to say that they stole a car, though.
Again, I did not steal a car. If anything, I was what's
a party to it.
Yeah, it's assistant robber.
Yeah, guilt by association.
Guilt by association.
Yeah.
So the McCleany games, you're planning them with Corey.
Yeah, so there's some really good ideas, like the idea that we were gonna have you guys drive all the way to Seven Springs and then have the first bar that we tell you to go to be empty.
Yeah.
And then have it set at the other bar on the
Right.
other side of Seven Springs. That was a
Right.
really good idea.
That was one of them.
One of them. But then there were things that we couldn't account for, like for some reason he really wanted to do the walk the walk and the beans.
Yeah.
And like that just was
Yeah.
like such a weird idea. Like he
Yeah,
wanted you guys
like-
to walk through beans.
Like sending
But
your
it-
best friend 13 cowboy hats.
Like sending your best friend 13 cowboy hats. Which I actually have those in my car too.
Oh, good. You have everything in your car.
Just in case.
Just
You never know.
you never know when you're gonna need 13 cowboy hats.
Josh, don't make a joke about it because it's actually come in handy more times than I care to admit.
The cowboy hats?
Yes, I showed up to a couple
Hodos.
gatherings.
Rodeos and hoedowns. You were unprepared.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly correct. How did you know? I have clients in Butler. That's how I knew.
Yeah. A couple appointments went way better since
Yes.
it was going really badly. And I said, you know what? Give me 1 second. I forgot my laptop charger in my car. I come back in wearing a Stetson, things just went so much smoother after that.
The Stetson that I wore in the pizza review,
Yes,
the Florida Stanley Stetson.
that's right.
Yes.
Florida Stanley, which still makes me laugh so hard that Corey was able to name it that.
If any of you are curious why the fuck that one pizza review from a couple of weeks ago was so wild, it was Corey and Shaun being the creative directors and orchestrators of it, and somehow I ended up with a cigar, pizza, and Florida Stanley hat.
You know what? Here's the funny thing. I think that is actually a really good example of Corey and my creative direction together. Like the yin and yang. You know, like I brought the cowboy hat over and said, "Oh, do it with this cowboy hat." And then Corey brings a blowtorch over to light it. So like there's a line, and then Corey always has a plan to go step way over that
Yeah,
line.
Corey can't see the line. There can't be a line. No.
To quote a famous movie, since you're a fellow cinephile, the limit does not exist.
I don't know. I'm the worst cinephile in the world.
It's Mean Girls.
A+.
Yeah.
A+. We just revealed to Shaun a trip that Corey and I have been planning. I'm gonna call it 9 months at the smallest amount of time.
Yeah.
That we've been planning this.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
No.
I am very impressed. But it's so funny that it came together at the very end with just a few last minute things, like little tipping points that you hit.
No, it didn't come together because we were going to leave you. Well, there was going to be an Escalade, and Corey and I were going to get out in matching jackets. But that got ruined.
No,
That got
you shouldn't
ruined.
have told me that. You should not have told me that you're going to get out of an Escalade wearing matching jackets, because now the weekend is never going to live up to how funny that image is in my mind.
Well, Corey and I are wearing matching outfits all weekend.
Oh, okay.
And not the ones from the Tyanesta golf trip. These are completely different matching outfits.
Oh,
So we now have 9 matching outfits.
what? What two men? This many matching outfits. What two platonic friends?
I have an answer to that, I think. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yes, probably.
That is probably. I also imagine, and this is more how Corey sees our relationship, is Chris Farley and Adam Sandler probably also had that many matching outfits.
You know what? I mean, Corey's such a huge Chris Farley fan. He would probably use that. But the John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, and I don't mean this as any slight to you, but Corey would definitely be the Will Ferrell in that.
Well, yeah, John C. Reilly is the yes and guy. And that's,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a great number 2. If I know, and that's the part of this podcast that terrifies me, is I'm Batman. It's so fucking scary. And Batman doesn't go down on people now.
Wait. Sorry. There's first, Batman doesn't go down on people.
Yeah.
And then also that you just said people.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's fine.
you know, who knows?
Yeah. I don't remember who Batman's love interest was. What's her name?
Catwoman.
Catwoman, but also the one that Mary Jane. No, that's
Nope, that's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
In the
Are
Dark
you
Knight.
Rachel
Rachel
Dawes.
Rachel Dawes, yeah.
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 Dawes? I think so. Where the fuck was this? Okay, so
That's what scares you about this.
Right. We just revealed to Shaun that he is going on an annual bachelor party for a guy who was made up out of Corey and mine's middle names. Turns out is a real person who is a VP at Goldman Sachs. And Corey and I might not make it because we might be arrested for forgery and impersonating somebody.
What if they actually upgrade all of our rooms because they think it's
They think it's us? That would be pretty cool,
they
actually.
think it's him.
Yeah, that would be cool. So we just revealed to Shaun this 9-month elaborate prank. And I use big air quotes, prank, that we were pulling on him. And so it's all been revealed. We're going to a golf weekend with a couple of our friends. But yeah, so that is the if you're like, what did I miss at the beginning? That's what you fucking missed.
You just come into a room that just for people who do miss it, you walk into a room with your best friend, and then you see on the screen your other best friend, and they tell you that they're taking you on a trip that you had no idea this next weekend. That's what you missed. So
Yes, but it was elaborately planned that you were being kidnapped at one point. We were gonna hire Uber drivers to pick you guys up in black Escalades.
what were you guys doing while you were planning this, by the way? Like
Hammered.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, the first night Corey was driving, I was drunk. Because it had just been like 2 beers deep had just ended. I'd just gotten home.
Okay.
And Corey's like, what if? And I'm like, okay. And just like punched it all together. And then further planning through text messages. And then the seal in the coffin of our own insanity was like maybe a week before Christmas. Corey's like, hey, come over. And I set out in my mind to drink Corey under the table that night, which I accomplished.
That's a really aggressive goal to set.
It's a big goal for me.
Yeah.
One I've been working on for a decade now. Finally accomplished it like 2 weeks before Christmas.
As a Christmas present to yourself.
Yeah, well, I just ran my first 5K like 2 weeks before that. So I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna drink Corey under the table and just check things off of bucket lists.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's when like Eloise got heavily involved. Changed the letter to sound more English because Corey's wife is English. That's when we changed the name was I think Martha, and we changed it to the middle names being Anastasia and Eloise's middle names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All sorts of really elaborate shit. Also, it's Corey's initials.
Yeah.
CM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show the hat. Show the hat to that camera. This one in the middle. Yeah, I designed that.
Very nice. Chuck Michaels.
Chuck fucking Michaels.
Nice.
Yeah. Hi, Shaun Sweeney.
Hi, Josh Elsass.
Welcome to A Great Depression.
I'm happy to be here.
This is my podcast where I
I've-
talk to my friends about dumb shit, and we've nailed that.
Well, I've listened to every episode so far, so
Oh,
it's
well,
been really
thanks.
fun, man.
You're the only one.
That's not true.
It's interesting. Those of you who are listening versus those of you who watch the watch the pizza reviews versus watch, other things.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a direct line to my people though. Like my part of the Thoughts from the Bench audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting watching like who spikes numbers, who does well. Like I would have imagined, sorry, Greg Skelp, you're about to get buried. I would have imagined Greg Skelp would have done great numbers. But we're sitting at Wednesday that dropped on Monday. He's maybe done 12.
Okay.
Where Ryan and Kaylee broke 52 last week.
Okay.
Or the week before that.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I don't know. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I just try to have cool conversations with my friends.
Well, that's what comes across. I mean, and that's why I was so excited whenever you asked me to be on this, is I really enjoy listening to this show because you don't just stick to like one topic. You go all over the place, and it sounds much more like just like actually, I hate to just use the word authentic, but
Right.
it does. It sounds like unrehearsed. It sounds like you guys are just having a good time. And
Oh,
I
it's
feel like,
unrehearsed.
and I feel like I'm just kind of like a fly on the wall hanging out, and like I'm laughing out loud at a lot of things too. Like I loved the story about the like messing with the car. The V
Val.
Val,
Yeah.
from V Train. I was like, I want to be friends with this person. This person
No,
sounds
you don't, because
awesome.
she'll egg your car.
Okay, besides that part. Yeah.
But you might have to fight a bee for her at a bar as well. That was my favorite V Train story.
Yes. Yeah.
The Jersey Shore bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this bee bothering you?
Excuse me? Bee? You're gonna have to leave. I don't know what accent that was. Can we talk about why you're more aerodynamic with your shirt off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how many inside jokes we should do. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
Send
well,
it.
there are sometimes whenever you I think that this isn't an inside joke. This is something that, like, it's practical advice.
It's practical advice.
So let me ask you: have you ever woken up and looked at your alarm clock and said, "Oh my God, I forgot to set my alarm"?
Absolutely.
So you get up, you're hurrying up, you get to your car, and traffic is slow. You're hitting every light.
Right.
If you take your shirt off whenever you're driving and you're running late, you become more aerodynamic, and you'll be able to get there on time or maybe just a little bit late. So that's a really good practical advice.
Perfect.
Mhm.
You're straight mean mugging me too. You're not breaking. All right. So let's talk about the first time we were introduced to each other,
Okay, sure.
because I wonder how many people have this story with their friends, let alone people they've been friends with for over a decade, let alone people they call their best friends, let alone people they've been at each other's weddings, that kind of thing.
I have no other friend that I started off not like feeling like I had this person that straight up didn't like me
Yeah.
become my friend.
Right,
Like-
but I also didn't like Corey, and Corey didn't like me, so it was like a draw.
Why do you do that to people?
I don't know. I'd say it's the mustache, but I didn't have a mustache then, so yeah.
Yeah.
So Shaun and I went to school together, Robert Morris University, and you needed somebody to help you do a video or a broadcast.
Before that, though, it was.
Was it before that?
Yeah, because it was you wanted to use the radio station.
Oh, that's
and I
right.
was supposed to show you how to use the radio station, and you came in like mad at me that I was trying to show you how to do something with the radio station.
Well, to be fair, I knew exactly how to use the radio station.
It felt like that. I felt like I was mansplaining to you because
Yeah.
I was asked by like some teacher to like go over it with you.
And I was 90% sure that I knew more than you about the radio station.
And I'm 100% sure that you did.
Yeah. So it wasn't your fault. Also, you as a person are so energetic and happy all the fucking time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh? And I just like, you were just like, hey man, let's look at the studio together in your fucking quirky like walk that you do when you like you're being goofy, where you like walk like a cowboy all of a sudden.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy. Like, who is this guy? Like, I'm the king shit around here. Why is he showing me that she doesn't know shit between a condenser mic and a dynamic mic and yada yada yada. Anyway,
Extremely underqualified.
extremely underqualified. But then I think who put together the thing where the Incline came and played in the studio and you interviewed them?
I think that was
Did Deloro put that together?
Yeah, I think
And he
so.
just picked you to host it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
he picked me to host it because I was doing my radio show was bringing bands in and
Right.
interviewing them and talking to them, and it was so much fun, and I made a lot of really fun friends from that, including you because of the radio show.
Indirectly.
Yeah. And then I guess we had to do this like live set, and I think that they just kind of wanted to like make it bigger than other shows that we did.
Yeah.
So we tried it out and we did that.
You also, I don't know if you remember this, you had, so the way the radio station is at Robert Morris's, or was, you walk into the Patrick Henry Center, which is the library / media center, at least it was. And off to the left is the radio booth. And then there were speakers on
Mhm.
outside in the lobby, and you could hear what was going on in there.
Mhm.
And I walked in and I heard this band, and they were like, kind of like A Day to Remember, but they were local, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, this band's awesome.
Mhm.
And I needed at the time an intro song for our show, Colonial Sports Center, because we were currently using Knights of Sidonia by Muse,
Okay.
which we did not have copyrights for. But because we were local broadcast, whatever, nobody's like kind of watching that stuff.
Yeah.
But I had these big aspirations to get my show to go to some awards, and like I wanted to win some awards, but I needed to have copyrights for the music I was using.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, okay, cool. I need to get like permission from this band.
Mhm.
And after the show, you like said,
Go ahead.
Suck it, Greg Skelp.
Armor for Sleep's better than just 10 seconds. I love Greg Skelp. I truly do.
Oh shit!
I listened to that. I was like, "Hey, I love this band." Then he
Yeah,
said
you
10-second
texted
band.
me. You're like,
And I was like,
"Is it really?"
"Oh."
Yeah.
But it was actually kind of accurate. Sorry, keep
Yeah.
going with your story.
So I like you set it up and we signed them to give us this 1 or 2 songs or
Yeah.
whatever, and we won a Telly Award that year, which as like a college station winning a national broadcasting award was like a really big deal, and like they wrote about us in the Colonial and like our names went on this thing and yada yada yada. But like it was this really big deal, and it never would have happened if it wasn't for Shaun Sweeney.
Ah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Well, that's actually that. It wouldn't have happened without you if you didn't have your ears listening and hearing that while you walked past and thought about it.
Right.
So,
But then Shaun and I became really good friends when his band needed somebody to record a set for them. And Mr. Smalls, they were opening up for The Deer Hunter. And somehow we got connected, I think probably through Deloro again.
yeah, because I said I need somebody who will do this, like who needs like some more video footage, because I got just the guy. And he sends me you, and I say, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
this guy does not like me."
There you go. I just needed to put that more in your mouth. But yeah, so we recorded a video, and then that was the beginning of the end. That was like, and I couldn't shake you as hard as I tried.
No, you
No, that was it.
No, but also you became the glue to the group of friends, and I think that that's one big thing too about Josh Elsass is whenever you get involved in a friend group, you become like you make it much more, you elevate it to a different level of friendship, you know, which isn't just like me gassing you up. It's just like, well, now it's like we all support each other. It's not just like we hang out with each other. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, who would have thought that some swoopy haired blonde kid that was pissing me off one day would become one of my best friends, and we would do some really fucking wild shit together, which coming up next Friday will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. As you are listening to this, it'll be actually that Friday.
Oh.
So if you're
cool.
listening to this on Friday, we are in a car headed to Maryland.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Kind of
Oh,
wild
man.
to think about it, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, this is gonna be super fun.
Hang on a second. The newer logo. Can you pop up your mic a little bit and make sure you're talking into the newer logo? There we go.
Am I not coming through?
That's what it is.
Yeah, I
All
couldn't hear
all right.
myself
Now
all
you
that
can
well.
back it away a little bit. There you
Like
go.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
Now I can actually hear myself better too.
Right. That all makes sense.
I guess you still don't know shit about radio stations.
You don't know shit about this fucking radio station you built by hand, you idiot. What a moron.
So can you actually have Derek come on and interview me
Yeah,
instead?
actually, let me go ahead and call Derek. Be like, hey, Josh is a fucking idiot. Can you please come take over the interview?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I wish I would have actually met him before he moved. I don't think I actually ever got to meet him in person.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
At Buckets versus Elsass.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that was fun. That was a really cool thing. I was so happy you asked me to come and take pictures of that.
27 points, or 71 points, Benny. 71 fucking points.
That was crazy.
I put a hurting on him.
It was like Tyson fighting a baby.
It was like anybody fighting a baby, I guess. I don't know. It was a slightly bigger baby fighting a baby. That's about it. But oh fuck. All right.
That reminded me of a John Mulaney joke.
What?
That he found out later in life that like his babysitter, like he was 10 and his babysitter was only 14 years old. And he's like, why did you have a 14? Like you just had a bigger child watch me whenever I was growing up. It was a lot funnier whenever he delivered it.
Isn't
though.
John Mulaney canceled?
Canceled?
So he got sober, dumped his wife, and then
Oh,
started
right.
dating Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Isn't he like he's canceled right now?
I don't know if he's canceled. I mean, he didn't get he was sober,
Right.
and then he relapsed.
Oh.
And then he's like broke up with his wife, who like they had an incredibly like very public relationship, and then he broke up with her, and then he's dating Olivia Munn, I guess, is what Megan told me, because she keeps up on all the hot goss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Your awesome wife, Megan,
Yeah.
keeps you in check.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, talking about a lot of things that I don't know. I came into this thinking that we were probably going to talk about music. We were probably going to talk about us going out and taking pictures. We were probably going to talk about funny memories, all that kind of stuff.
Done. All right. Wrap up the show.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
What are you listening to right now?
Honestly, right now I've been listening to. I went back to a lot of like, because I knew I was going to be on the show. I listened to a lot more of the emo music that you actually like reference in here.
What the fuck, man?
I know. I actually went back to it like sort of preparing for the show, and then I just got stuck in a loop.
Preparing for the show, and I'm like, let me listen to Armor for Sleep.
Oh my god, it's so fucked up that I was like jamming
Let
Armor
me
for
listen to
Sleep.
Chevelle.
I was like jamming Armor for Sleep, and then I told you like, hey, have you listened to Armor for Sleep? And he's like, yeah, Greg just shit all over that band.
Yeah, literally.
What? And then I listened to the episode. But I went back to like my grassroots stuff too, like Brand New, Devil and God Raging Inside Me.
Yep.
I know people would argue with me, but I still think that that's their greatest album. Like people will say Deja is their best album because that's whenever they really.
Can you not say Untendu?
I say entendu or entendu.
You like pulled up. You're like, French word.
Ooh, I don't want to say it wrong.
Untendu.
Deja entendu.
I think you got it that time.
I think I got it.
I don't know how to say it either, but
Well, I mean, arguably, like, what's your favorite Brand New album though?
okay. So,
Like, because
Do you
and I
wanna
know
go
they're
down this
canceled
hole?
too.
they're
canceled.
very canceled.
They're very
yeah.
But like, this is all like if I guess we could even say like I'm not going to count science fiction in this because I mean number one I really don't have to. The rest of their albums are so much better than science fiction in my opinion. But
Okay, so Brand New.
Yeah.
Okay. Brand New, I did not know anything about until I started dating my wife and met you guys,
okay,
which all happened at the same time, essentially. And all of you were like, Brand New's the best, Brand New's the best, Brand New's the best. And I'm like,
yeah, they are.
I'm like, I don't know shit about this fucking band. And you guys would play, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's like catchy. And I'm like, but like, do they like Taking Back Sunday? Do they like My Chemical Romance? Do they like these like good bands? Like, what's up with this band?
Oh yeah.
And so it wasn't until I think me exploring it on my own that I really started to appreciate it more. If I had to pick, can I pick like the first half of Deja and then like the first half of the album before that?
Your favorite weapon?
Yeah.
You can, but
Actually,
I just don't
I just
respect you
picked-
anymore.
I would just pick your favorite weapon. I just
Oh.
and it,
Oh, I also knew coming onto the show that I'm not going to have any lukewarm answers.
No.
I'm not going to have any diplomatic answers.
no.
I'm just going to tell you, like, no. Like, your favorite weapon is not Brand New's best album, and you're
But-
wrong.
But
And
to
you can
go
end the
back-
show right now.
to go back to a former guest, one Brian Howe,
Yeah.
he's like, you hate everything everybody likes. You should get that checked out. That's
yeah.
essentially what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Deja is probably the best, but I'm like, well, your favorite weapon's more punk, and I really like that song about tell all the boys you meet. Na na
Yeah.
na 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 na.
And I love that album, too. I'm not saying it's a terrible album.
Yeah.
And, you know, I loved Brian saying that, too. That was really funny.
Mhm.
Whenever. You should probably work on that.
Yeah, you should probably work on that.
Yeah. Leave it to
Haven't
him,
worked
though.
on it.
Leave it to him, though. Brian's, like, always had, like, very quick wit, very smart. I love
Yes.
talking with him whenever I do. It's been too long since I've talked to him, but I love his show, too. But, yeah, so you're not a
Which
bad...
is start the beat.
Yes.
Start the beat.
Yeah. But you aren't a bad person and you don't have bad music taste because you think that your favorite weapon is the best Brand New album. You're not, but you're just wrong.
Right. Objectively wrong.
Yes.
You are objectively wrong.
But I always kind of laugh because like that album, they they even named their band Brand New because they like had been in other bands with a lot of other people in Long Island, New York, which is also Taking Back Sunday too, which they were like frenemy bands, which is really cool.
And Bayside.
Yep. But like they were like, let's do something totally brand new. And like, oh, that's the name of our band. Like it was like part of the interviews that I watched. And it's not brand new wasn't very brand new in that first album.
Right.
But then I love how they just gave a middle finger to each predecessor album and said, fuck you, we're going to do a completely different album. And they hit perfectly on Deja, and they hit again with Devil and Gods. And then it got to Daisy, and people kind of like scratched their head a little bit, but I still loved Daisy too. And I'm still going to say that Devil and Gods, I think it's my personal attachment to it, but
Okay.
just it's a masterpiece to me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You're objectively wrong.
Oh! Yeah. I don't think that I wonder how many people would argue with me on that though. I know that Megan does. My wife Megan, she's definitely your favorite weapon too. So you and the girls are fine that you like your favorite weapon.
Tell all the American boys you meet,
Yeah.
or all the English
There's
boys you meet about your American boy back in the States. It's very clever writing.
The American boy you used to date who would do anything you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, and they had that amazing 70x7 fantastic song. Is that what you call a getaway?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that really taught me about the power of a bridge in a song. You can like if you like the songs that I used to write with Instead of Sleeping, if we had a bridge that was like a huge fuck you, that's because I loved Brand New so much. Because Brand New, think about like that 70x7. I've seen more spine and jellyfish. I've seen more guts than 11-year-old kids. Like, that's a bridge. That is like a punch you in the face bridge that everybody wants to sing along. You have that in Okay, I Believe You, But My Tommy Gun Don't in Deja Entendu. That's just like, oh my God. Now I'm like referencing too many songs at once. But
You're okay.
This is the grace only we can bestow. This is the grace, lack of control. This is the break in the bend. This is all that. Just like perfect bridge that just like crushes. And then they go right back into the chorus. And then with...
So hang on. Before you go further, explain a bridge to people who don't understand songwriting.
Sorry. Okay, so you have verse, chorus. Bridge is like that.
Verse is when they say all the words that don't rhyme.
Exactly. Verse is like you're telling the story. Chorus is whenever you are repeating the message in the song. You continue to repeat
Knees
the
weak,
chorus.
mom spaghetti is the verse. Lose yourself in the music. The moment is the chorus.
You have now tuned into songwriting by Josh Elsass.
Okay, so what is a bridge then?
A bridge is something that completely breaks away from the verse chorus. It's going to be where you deliver the most impactful message. It's also going to be if you want to change the way that the story goes, you can put it in there. As far as songwriting goes, I think, in my opinion, it's one of the most, it's like where you put the biggest spotlight on in a song. Even though the chorus gets repeated so many times so that you get people to remember it. Even if the verses fill in the blanks of the story you're trying to tell with the song, the bridge is like the gut punch to me. Like, I want you to remember these words. And like in Brand New and other bands that I look up to, they always cut everything down so you can really hear every fucking syllable, every word, and you hang on it. That is what I like about Brand New so much.
So then for all of you hardcore kids, the bridge would be what presets the breakdown.
Yes. Yeah. Typically it is amplified by a big breakdown or something really big instrumentally, or like going into like an extra hard chorus, like you add in more layers onto that last chorus to like send it home, and bridges typically are closer to the end of the song too.
What are some other bands that have awesome bridges?
Ooh,
I know that's off the top of your head.
Under Oath is a perfect example. A
Day to Remember.
A Day to Remember, yeah, which I don't like A Day to Remember either.
Objectively wrong again, Shaun Sweeney.
I don't think I am.
2 points to me, 0 to you.
That is 5 points deducted from Gryffindor. But
I wish it Professor McGonagall cut out instead of the Rock. It'd just be
seriously.
like, Dumbledore.
Okay, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but I don't like a day to remember. Maybe it's because I don't own any flat brim hats, tank tops, or a vape pen. But I just don't like a day to remember.
I feel personally attacked.
I don't know, man. I don't shop at Zoomies. I
Oh, man. How many pairs of Vans do you own? None?
0.
What a loser. You fucking idiot.
But, okay, I'm not trying to piss people off. It's just I didn't get the hype. Like, everybody got such a huge tumescent boner about a day to remember whenever they came out.
Tumescent. Probably the biggest words used since Zach left.
Yeah.
Yeah, tumescent.
But, like, I heard the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, that's really fun, and like, the let's go, and then it went into a breakdown, and I'm like, cool, and then I heard the guy sing, and I was like, I don't care.
Oh.
I don't.
I think your take is 100% on for 90% of people who would say they hate A Day to Remember. But also, I think it's a tie between Dance Gavin Dance and A Day to Remember for their fans being like, if
like
you even
Dance Gavin Dance.
that's fucked up. How do you like Dance Gavin Dance and you don't like A Day to Remember?
Fuck. Okay. I have friends that like A Day to Remember. I like them. I like them liking it, and they don't all wear tank tops and smoke vape pens and wear flat brim hats and shop at Zoom.
Some of us do.
But you put Dance Gavin Dance and A Day to Remember in a room together.
One
Dance
of them
Gavin
has a
Dance-
lot more money than the other one.
Dance Gavin Dance crushes them in guitar. Crushes them in guitar.
And then they crush them with their fucking wallets because A Day to Remember has so much more money than all the other fucking post-hardcore bands from that genre. Sue me, Shaun Sweeney. I'm fucking right. 5 more points deducted from Gryffindor.
Okay. Hey, I won't argue it. I don't mind that they have a much bigger commercial appeal than Dance Gavin Dance. But I will say that the music behind Dance Gavin Dance is better. That is going to be with one caveat. They have continued to put out more music. I have not kept up with Dance Gavin Dance.
It is so Austin Moorhead, the rank king of Thoughts from the Bench, giant Dance Gavin Dance fan.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the biggest Dance Gavin Dance fan I know.
Okay.
He was like has submitted, like when they were doing the fan videos through quarantine, like Austin's in one of them. That's how
Wow.
Yeah, like you had to be in the fan club, get the pre-email, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
He likes the new stuff, but he also didn't get into the band until Tillian was the lead singer.
Okay. Yeah, because they switched out a few times, right?
3 times.
Yeah.
Tillian is the 3rd.
Yeah.
So I think that matters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it matters a lot when you're talking about a legacy of a band. If you get into it late, even if let's say the last great album they did was like the Earth Robot looking one. I don't remember the name of it. Let's say that was the last great album from that band, right? But if that was your first introduction, the next 2 or 3 albums are probably going to be
different.
pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
To you.
Yeah.
But I think where the fuck was I going with all of this? Oh, I want to have a conversation. Finger pointing at you, Shaun Sweeney, entering your camera. I want to have a conversation with you about the importance of art.
Yeah.
Okay. Because your mother's a delightful painter, and you are a musician. I am a filmmaker. You're also a photographer. And do you make art to express emotion, or do you make art to make money, you personally?
I did try to do it to make money. That's a huge mistake. I do it to express emotion now because I got this really good piece of advice from my wedding photographer. And I told him I got a camera. And
First off, shout out Ryan.
Ryan. Oh, yeah. Ryan Zarixniak. However, I have to make sure I say his name right. Yeah. Fantastic wedding photographer. You are doing yourself a huge service by calling him for your wedding. But I asked him, just like him and another photographer, it was at Corey's wedding. And I said, I got this Fujifilm X-T20. And he said, I said, you have any like advice, you know? And he said, yeah, don't do it for money. It ruins it whenever you do it for money. And that he probably was just kidding, and he didn't realize he was giving me sage advice that I would live by. But it definitely holds true, because like whenever, you know, Corey and I and like the rest of the band, Woody and Jeff, like whenever we were trying to make a band a career, it puts so much extra stress and pressure, and like trying to make art that will be commercially successful, like
Yeah.
A Day to Remember. But I don't want to make music like A Day to Remember. And whenever we were trying to do something that we weren't, like we didn't have our entire hearts in, we came out with something that was, you know, not exactly what we wanted to do. And I mean, it was fun, and we were happy with the music, but like it didn't have the same not nostalgic, but it didn't have the same heart that the, you know, one of our albums that we did whenever we were just doing it for fun did, you know. You don't have to follow a certain set of rules. You can do what makes you feel good. And there's something certainly, like you asked about like what art means to me on this, like is it something you do to display emotion or, you know, commercial success? I don't think there's anything wrong with using it for commercial success. I just think that putting that pressure on it and forgetting that you do it to feel good, that little click that you feel in your head whenever you see something or hear something beautiful, I think that's probably a lot more important.
So when I got into multimedia, it was the only thing I could do other than hockey.
Yeah.
And so
I love that story too, by the way.
I hate that story because that's how I ended up where I am right now. And but I never saw this as a way to express emotions, because I saw it as my only thing to make money. And I remember in film school pissing off the film kids because they'd be like, who's the greatest director ever? And I'd be like, well, Steven Spielberg's made the most money.
Yeah. That's funny that shows up for you. Like how, I mean, because you are a career creative.
Oh, and I hate that fucking word.
Career creative?
Career creative. That's just a really shitty fucking thing to call somebody who gets told to make logos bigger and more logo-y. Or like, can we reshoot? No, you can't fucking reshoot. It took me 6 weeks to book this fucking spot and to watch the weather and make sure that we have everything timed perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot reshoot. Okay, I guess we're reshooting.
I'm sorry.
So, but anyway, I've never seen this as anything other than a way to make money, including Thoughts from the Bench.
Mm-hmm.
As much as this is a passion project, and you know, Derek and I, if all we leave with is a drawer full of T-shirts and memories, like, no. We're cashing out when we walk away in one way or another, whether it's to a bigger job because of this, like Derek already has, or like this finally gets off the fucking ground. And I mean, finally, we only do it for 3 years, but like if this gets off the ground, like, and we get paid to do this, like we're cashing out.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for charity. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing this to better my career because this is all I have. I don't have I have a 9 to 5, but it blows. And I do that 9 to 5. And yes, it's with cameras. And yes, I'm working in the industry. And that's better than 90% of the people that I know can say.
Right.
But that was never enough for me. I refuse to live in mediocre. I will play in the big leagues at some point. Yeah. Like every other fucking, you know, dumb try hard story you hear about, right?
Yeah.
Overnight success takes 30 years of hard work.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, I think that explains so much of, you know, I think that where I'm coming from too is that I do have a career that I absolutely love. Like that's the reason why I was interested in finance. I'm an investment advisor, and you know, and that's good because that takes care of my family, that takes care of me. And then whenever I do art, I can just do it for me, which is a luxury that I should probably keep my mouth shut about whenever I'm talking to somebody who does art, but they do it because it's their career. So, I mean, I think that that's where I'm coming from. And whenever I was just full-time musician, I was teaching guitar lessons. I was trying to get money from shows, from selling merch, from selling tickets.
You guys hustled.
We did.
We really did.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we became actual friends, was when I realized, like, I saw friends at that Deer Hunter show who were there to see Deer Hunter, and they're like, who is that band you were filming? They were really good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, their merch table's over there. And like You guys left that night with nothing left at the merch table.
Nope.
And I was like, oh, this. They're treating this like I'm treating this. That's their, like, this is all, we're all in. There's no second job. Burn the boats. We're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
You guys did
Burn
it.
the boats. I love that phrase.
Burn the
man.
boats?
Burn the boats.
But like, that's, you guys did. And you
Yeah.
did it for the better part of a decade. You
Yeah.
burned the fucking boats and you were going to make it work.
Mhm. And you know what? I mean, that brings up two things that I want to touch on. The first one is about you at that show. And the second one is about Gas, the give a shit. So
Let's talk about Gas and not me.
Oh, okay, fine. If you don't want me to tell them about how you I still
No,
thought that you didn't like
stop.
me.
Stop. Just talk about Gas.
All right, I was just gonna tell them that you're a piece of shit.
Thank you.
All right,
Nick Faust, piece of shit. Great guy. Piece of shit.
But you bring up the give a shit factor, really.
Yeah.
So we worked with so many other bands,
Right.
and we were putting on shows with them. We were, swapping tour dates. Like, hey, if you set up a show here, we'll set up a show there. And there is a huge gap between not just musical talent. The give a shit factor just wasn't fucking there. Like, these people just showed up and thought that they were just gonna like be so fucking good that they were just gonna knock everyone's socks off, and people are gonna just start spilling in off the street to come and listen to them. Not reality, dude. You have to bust your ass. You have to hustle. You have to get people interested. You have to keep them interested, which is a nightmare. And you have to like show up and do your job after you do all that. Your job is to entertain people and to engage people.
Did you hear that? Thoughts from the bench employees?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Listen, you can pick up a guitar and grab a microphone and get up on a stage and say that you're in a band. Fuck you. No, you're not. You
Yeah.
got to go out. You got to start selling some tickets. You got to start talking to people about it. You got to book shows. You got to actually do all the logistics behind it. I know so many people that don't have that gas, that give a shit factor. And that's in any creative field. And that's something that, I mean, that's why you guys are doing this. You guys have that. You have that give a shit factor.
So yeah, that was good. That was a good direction of that conversation. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What to you, since you were down your rabbit hole of emo bands,
Oh, yeah.
who's the and can't pick brand new
Oh, no.
because we already did brand new. Well, who's the most underrated emo band of that era?
Ooh, of that era?
If you'd like, I can put a 10-year parameter on it.
Oh, I know one. It's I'm like thinking of the song name is Emily. He became Skrillex. The band was
Saves the Day.
No.
No. It has Day in it.
Yeah.
Hang
I'll think
on.
of a different one
Hang
because
on.
that's not a good enough one. They were underrated, I thought. Emily wasn't just their best song.
From first to last.
That's it. From first to last. I like them a lot. I really played through them a lot.
One of Anastasia's all-time jokes is Skrillex. Isn't that the first to last cover band? Dun-dun-dun.
Nice.
A+ joke.
Nice.
Yeah.
But actually, I kind of went down that rabbit hole and came back out like in other bands too. Like, I went deeper on The Neighborhood. Like, I just started listening to The Neighborhood like so much more now, and I totally missed. I should have listened to them more back whenever they were like bigger, and they're still putting music out now. Me Without You, another killer band. They went some real weird directions for sure. They went like down the folk thing.
Yeah.
And like they get into some religious stuff, but like it's just fucking good music, man. It's just it hits so hard. I love that.
Trying to remember now what my two questions were I asked Ryan and Kaylee. Fuck. They're my good music questions. My brain is so fried thanks to Corey McLean that I can't come up with them at this
Yeah, he
exact
ruins
moment.
everything.
I don't know. You pick a topic now.
No. Okay, so actually, and one other thing too that I've been getting into so much more too is like lo-fi, like chill hop, lo-fi hip hop music.
Did you hear the new one? The Summer? Summer Beats 2021.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's out. It's really good.
So I get really into that, and it's really funny because whenever I first started the band, it was completely instrumental, and it was literally that kind of music. So I'm not going to be that guy that says I did that first, but like
I did that first.
I really had an appreciation for that
Right.
very early on, and
Sky Eats Airplanes or whatever.
yeah, and like explosions in the sky.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking.
I knew what you meant, but yeah, like so it like that's even like more, that's even larger and more cinematic than what this chill hop is. It's like
Right.
very lo-fi. It's literally I plugged into my parents' computer like with a 1/4-inch to 1/8-inch jack and recorded guitar and found drum loops that were like
That's awesome.
on some Microsoft program. No idea where they came from. But that is really, in my opinion, I think it's like really blowing up. I think that more people, especially in our age too, because if you go back and listen to emo music, it's really fun for a while, but it's like I have a lower tolerance for listening to that for that long now. And lo-fi chill hop, it's just like background music. You know, it's just like something that you can have on like chill and study or talk, and like it just sounds good. And it still has a lot of the same elements that I like about, you know, chill hop, or like about like emo and like about like indie bands. Like there's still definitely a structure to it, how it continues to build, but it's like just softer. It's just more chill.
Why is it that in our older age we can't obsess over a band the way we did in high school?
Oh, that is such a good question, because I was thinking about that. Back in high school, the bands you like was more important than anything. It was like it was your sports team. Like you were like, oh, like I love this band. And like that like defined who you were. That was your identity. Like, oh yeah, like Josh, he's super into Taking Back Sunday. You know, like
No.
you're not into Taking Back Sunday?
I like Taking Back Sunday. Incubus was the band in high
Incubus,
school
yeah,
for me that
yeah.
was like, they define me. They know who I am.
Right!
Yeah.
Like that was like you wrote that band's name in your notebook. Like it was like you would just like rewrite their lyrics, or at least I would, and just like that was all about me. And all I wanted to talk about with like if a girl would talk to me was like, hey, have you listened to this?
Hey, have you listened to Brand New?
Have you listened to this? And
what was
like,
that band? Was it Brand New?
It was definitely brand new for me. And it was also Taking Back Sunday. And then I got into more of like Under Oath and like into other metal sort of bands. Like I loved Pittsburgh Name Drop, Once Nothing. That was like absolutely like exactly what if I were ever in a metal band, I would want to be Once Nothing. They were just so original, so different to me. Because every band came out there, and metal bands, and they were like, we're tough, you know, like we scream, and like, okay, cool, like we have the heaviest breakdowns, we go down to drop G flat, you know. Once Nothing would come out, and they were the kind of toughness that was that blue collar dad who worked all day at the gas station, had a few too many drinks, and then came home and beat the shit out of you.
Oh my God, that was dark.
They were blue collar metal was their brand, and they just crushed it. Like I'm actually like getting goosebumps thinking about their shows.
That was
right
Gypsy's
now.
band, right?
Yeah.
Or Giuseppe's band.
Giuseppe's band, yeah. He was the drummer, fantastic as usual. You know, like that's any surprise.
Yeah, now he's the drummer for Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
Weird.
yeah. So that band, like I still grit my teeth thinking about how they just command. Like they didn't just like take your attention. They just commanded it, and you would just go and see them, and they just blew every other band out of the water.
What is the one thing, and try to come at this as a consumer of music, not a creator, which
Okay.
is going to be tough. What's the one thing in music that has to be good for you to like a band more than everything else? And that can be lyrics, it can be the arrangement, whatever. I mean, what is that one thing that a band does that separates them or makes them more special to you?
Ah, okay. That is really hard to take it as not a creator of music, but like,
would you like mine?
yeah. Tell me yours
Okay.
first, so I know how to answer the question.
Sure. So I think most of my life I would have told you it was lyrics or vocals or something like that.
Mhm.
And then it wasn't until I met you and Corey that I understood that it was actually the drummers that drove the bands that I loved. Blink-182, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Rush, Incubus to not as dramatic of an extent, but still. Red Hot Chili Peppers. The drummers all fucking rock. And the drummers aren't necessarily just keeping time the entire time. They're used as an accent instrument as much as they are keeping a rhythm.
Right.
A lot of the time, the rhythm switches off to the bass player in those bands, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it really came to my attention that, like, if the drummer sucks or the drummer's basic, like, I don't care. Newfound Glory was the first time I recognized it when I realized, like, I'm like, these drum fills are disgusting. And I'm like, oh, wait, he's not playing the rhythm of the song.
Yeah.
And it like blew my mind that, like, he's the accent, he's the guitar. So that was like something that's mine.
Yeah.
Is drums.
The drums. Okay. Well, actually, I feel a lot better about the answer I was formulating before, I let you answer your own question.
Like I said,
first.
Consumer, not creator.
Right. So consumer of music, it's definitely and it's still going to sound like a creator answer, but you'll let me explain it. It's still the structure of the song. Like, it's, and I don't want to use a corny quote, but I'm going to anyways. Miles Davis, he said, it's no. It's not the notes that I play that make me great. It's the spaces between the notes that make me great. So whenever it comes to a song that I absolutely love, and whenever I like, it sets it apart, it's the drops. It's like whenever they stop playing for a second and you literally just like, it takes your breath away just for a little bit. Love that. I love that. And it doesn't always have to be super big. Like Katy Perry does it really well in Dark Horse.
Yes, that's a great song.
It's so good, right? Like, that's a great example of like whenever it just drops and like the right? I think that there are so many artists that can really use that. And again, as a consumer of music, whenever I hear those cuts, those drops, whenever they just shut the fuck up and just like actually let the song like hit you and like remind you that you're listening. Because if you just hear song, music, your ears start to turn off a little bit, and then you hear the pause, jolted back to listening.
You know who does that real well?
Who?
The Biebs.
I don't listen enough to the Biebs to know the reference, but like you're gonna have to show me some of the songs.
Just go watch his Tiny Desk.
Okay.
That totally changed my opinion of him.
I actually have a pretty good opinion of him. Like, his music, like, for the most part, I definitely haven't had a problem with. Like, I was talking about this with Megan. Like, I hated all pop music back in high school.
Same.
Yeah, right. So, like,
well, most.
I might have had a guilty pleasure or two in there. But like we were talking about, this kind of circles back. Who you listen to.
Wow. It circled back.
Wow.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like, it circles back to like who you listened to whenever you were a teenager really defined you. And I did not appreciate some of the pop artists that I should have. Justin Timberlake's 2020 album was the awakening for me. Like, so pop doesn't mean like bubblegum pop. It means like popular. And just because everybody likes it doesn't mean that I have to hate it. And I was just like, okay, this is really cool. So yeah, I forget where I was going with that, but you brought up the Biebs, and I will have to give him another listen for some of his drops.
So the Tiny Desk, I want to clarify, changed my opinion from not thinking anything about the Biebs other than like he's a hockey guy and he puts hockey on a pedestal, so I'm cool with that. To like, oh, you know what? I'm now listening to this fucking Tiny Desk every fucking morning.
Wow.
Like every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down at my computer, first thing that goes on is Biebs' Tiny Desk.
Wow.
It's that good. Now, I don't think you'll have to watch it. And if anybody's watched it, I don't think he's singing.
Really? A Tiny Desk? I feel like you have to there.
Well, it's the home Tiny Desk.
Oh, okay. So he didn't like actually show up at NPR and like have backing.
Right, because it's during quarantine.
Okay.
And like, unlike Taylor Swift, who like in her Tiny Desk is like very obvious that she's fucking singing.
Yeah, right.
The Biebs is laying into some vocals like jutting out of his neck veins. And they are not like, he's not peaking the microphone. He's like, you don't hear his breath. He doesn't sound out of breath after he's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's a performance, and it's still great. Like the arrangements, and like it's with a real band instead of produced music. It's still worth listening to. It's still amazing. It's still fucking great. But I wonder how good the Biebs is straight up.
Straight, like unplugged.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of like your metal. Like you have to like, you show like you have your salt if you can play and sound good completely unplugged.
Right.
You know?
Right. Alice in Chains, Nirvana, all did that.
Nirvana Unplugged is like one of the best concerts I've ever watched a video of.
I almost bought that on Record Store Day.
You should have.
Well, I got Watching Movies with Sound Off, Mac Miller, because Anastasia loves Mac Miller, and I try to make sure that we have as much of her music in the record collection as mine, because I'm the one who buys 90% of the records.
Sure.
So I got that, and then I got Hosier's self-titled debut album.
Yeah.
That fucking slaps. Still an amazing album. And then I got at the second location, which did not have Nirvana Unplugged, but was Matchbox 20's debut album, Someone Like You.
You should have just got Nirvana instead of that one.
Fuck you, Shaun Sweeney. I can't believe you said that.
I don't like Matchbox 20.
Objectively wrong again.
Matchbook
you have
Romance.
cost Gryffindor so many points, sir.
I'm not gonna. I won't back down on it. And I'm not saying that they're bad bands. I'm just saying I don't like them. And Matchbook Romance. That's my underrated. That's my underrated.
Matchbook Romance.
Yeah,
great one.
Yeah,
it's a great one to pull.
Okay,
it's a great pull.
Keep going. Keep going. So stop.
Well,
Don't
and
stop.
then the other one was a Grateful Dead record.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I understand that.
You know,
but that live performance is just amazing. And Tiny Desk. That's where I got into Local Natives.
Whose live performance?
Nirvana's.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
MTV one.
Thank you.
But Local Natives, that's actually how I found out about Local Natives.
With Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk, yeah.
That's so weird, because Local Natives is a really interesting point in my life where I feel like all of us came to that band of our own accord, but we all universally agree that this was some different level shit.
Yeah.
Like there were like the Portugals at the time, and this is before Evil Friends had just come out, and Minus the Bear, like all of that.
Now you're speaking my language here.
Right, all of that genre of like indie rock, right?
Yeah.
Neighborhood American football.
Yes.
I'm just so like Hosier was one of them. Like all that like that era. But like Local Natives stuck out above them for some reason to me, and I feel like it did for a lot of us.
Yeah, because I feel like Local Natives, they created their own genre, much like how I talked about Once Nothing with Blue Collar Metal. They created choir indie rock, and 5-part harmonies like that. Okay, Good Old War does a really good job of that too. But like in that kind of rock setting, like that indie rock setting, I think that it was just like so different than any of the other indie bands that we were listening to.
And then for them to only make 2 other albums before the most recent one came out.
Yeah.
And for them to go like was all about like divorce or something, and then like the middle one was very experimental, and now the new one, they've come all the way back to their original sound.
Guerrilla Manor, yeah.
And amplified it. Like, how many bands have done that where they were able to go back, recapture their original sound?
Yeah.
It is. And they nailed it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's the funny, like Tom York said, you have your entire life to write your best album. You have a year and a half to write your second.
Your first album.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool, like, but like, it's so true. And like going back in time to being where you were in your head whenever you wrote that album, it's not, you cannot authentically do that. And well, I mean, maybe I certainly couldn't, but like they were able to accomplish that.
What's your favorite debut album?
Favorite debut album?
Please stop doing that to my microphone. What the fuck? Buy it a drink first.
That's so hard, Josh.
I know. It's not an easy question.
Debut album. Oh, KG Elephant.
That's a good one.
Yeah, KG Elephant. I thought they absolutely crushed it. And then they upped it again, the next album. And then they upped it again. That's a band that I think is just going to be that'll be our Stones, I think.
You think Cage the Elephant
Mm-hmm.
is comparable to the Rolling Stones.
Whoa. The Rolling Stones have decades on Cage the Elephant. I'm not saying that Cage the Elephant is the Stones now. I'm saying 30, 40 years from now, I think that they could be. It takes my kind of visionary insight to see and say these things,
Is that
Josh.
so?
Yeah, now I'm recorded saying it, so everybody can
If
just...
someone ever gives you 100-1 odds on something, you take it.
Dude, I'm right about this. I think Cage is going to be... I mean, you can say the Black Keys.
I think that's probably closer, but I don't think that's right either.
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so either. I think that Cage is going to be the next... They'll be the Stones next. They'll be like how our grandparents would talk about the Rolling Stones. You know, our parents would talk about the
I was
Rolling
going to
Stones.
say our parents. I don't think
Yeah.
grandparents.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that our grandparents like, oh, that noise. You know?
Oh.
But
It's really funny, like, I play the Grateful Dead now,
mhm.
and my grandmother's, like, tapping her foot, and my mom's losing her fucking mind. She's like, you hated the Dead. You guys had a bunch of hippies, and now here you are tapping it just because Josh is playing it.
Well, I mean, that actually, that's actually a super good talking point, too, is who introduces you to a song or to a band?
Oh, it so matters.
It matters. How you get introduced matters. It's a first impression. This person, like if Brian Howe recommends something to me, I'm probably going to like it a little bit more because I already respect his music taste.
You're
so
at least
much.
going to listen to it.
I'm definitely going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's a compliment to him. But like the idea is that like whenever you have a very reputable person who knows their music very well, which I lost all my reputation right now by saying that that Cage the Elephant
it was a
can be
rough
the-
take.
I'm going to stand by it. I think that 20, 30 years from now, they'll still be making music.
What Cage the Elephant song is Give Me Shelter?
They got a Grammy, dude.
Which Cage the Elephant song is Give Me Shelter?
They're not going to be the Stones.
Because
The Stones in 2050 will not sound like the Stones of what year would that
they'll still
song
be
have come
making
out?
music in 2050. Keith Richards' corpse will be up there playing, and Mick Jagger will still probably be alive.
And I think that the same will be said about I forget the lead singer's name.
You can't even remember their fucking name, Sean!
I don't look into that as much.
Oh my god, they're not the fucking Stones. Anyway.
They can be 20, 30 years from now. Anything can happen in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, we could all be dead.
Dude,
and
I'm gonna keep every time they release a new album, I'm gonna call you about it.
it's gonna be worse.
It just keeps getting better for them.
No.
Yes, it does.
My debut album
Okay.
is Hybrid Theory.
Oh, that's a good one. I loved Linkin Park. In fact, Linkin Park was who got me out of listening to rap into rock.
That's an easy transition.
Yeah. I mean, they blended it so well.
Right.
I mean, I listened to that story of you at that concert. That was really cool.
I wasn't at the concert.
Oh, was it the video that you were watching?
It's just a video I watch and cry.
So you don't cry in person.
I
You
just cry in person.
looking
I
at your...
just cry at the idea of something. It's so much easier to cry at the idea of something.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything.
All right.
But okay, back to who introduces you to music.
Yeah.
You know who introduced me to so many fucking bands?
Corey.
Nope.
My wife.
Nope.
Well, if it's me, then
Woody's
my
sister,
wife did.
Krista Wright.
Hey, Chris Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Krista or Fire.
Chris Fire.
She did. And then like, you know, I mean, everybody introduced me to something, you
Yeah.
know, but like Krista gave us like a bunch of bangers. She was like really in
What
tune
are they?
with that. I think that she actually might have been the one who showed us the video of Local Natives for Tiny Desk. I mean, I can't name them all off the top of my head, but I know that there's like a solid handful of them. Tony Tortella did too. Like he got me into like Love Drug, which was really cool. He got me into. He might have been Portugal. Also, he actually bought me records for Christmas of like bands that I was like, wow, this is super good. Elbow, that's the other one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's So we've been going for an hour.
Okay.
So let's wrap it up with records.
Okay.
Because there's only a few people I can talk about records with. You're one of them. Actually, most of them have already been on this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
So what right now is the record that is just stuck on your mantle and it's just getting played again and again and again?
Well, it's a lame answer, but I'm not gonna. Actually, I won't flinch by it because it's Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. I put
Okay.
that album on all the time, all the time. I love that album. In fact, there's a story that if you
Go
just have
for
that
it.
album sitting on your coffee table, people will instantly respect you a little bit more if they know anything about music.
I would not respect you because your record is on the coffee table.
Okay, it's an expression. It's displayed somewhere. Okay, Josh.
I think records are really cool in 2021 because of a couple of things. First off, to purchase it must mean you really love the album.
Yes.
And I think when I purchase an album, I try not to buy something, one, I haven't heard, and two, I don't already like consume to the point where like, yes, I would like to be able to put this on and spend the next however long listening to it.
Right.
Because you have to engage with the media. You have to take it out. You have to flip it. You have to play it. You have to have it at the right volume. You have to be in the room to fucking hear it. It can't go with you.
Right.
And the new house we live in, the record, the bottom of the house is small enough that I can walk down in the morning and the first thing I do is I put on a record and I make coffee. And I know you're like a big guy of like rituals and morning, you know, like habits and that kind of thing. But like, what is your record habit? When do you turn to your record player for solace?
Yeah. I do a lot whenever I'm working because I always have to have something on. I'll have that or if I'm editing photos. That's my favorite. I actually turn the lights down and I actually have some colored lights too. So just like really dark so the screen isn't too bright. Put on a couple records. I really like Radiohead for that too.
What Radiohead record? You can't just
Okay
say
Computer.
Radiohead. Fuck. Okay, I'm an In Rainbows guy.
Oh, no. I have both.
Okay, great.
But I'll say this. Whenever I'm listening to it on a record, to your point about like the tactile feel of it, In Rainbows, I think is a fantastic album. I think it sounds just as good on vinyl as it does digitally produced. OK Computer sounds just a tiny bit better on vinyl. And it's also two vinyls, and it's like a little bit more fun to have
The double LP.
It is, and like it's an actual book and everything too. And I have both. You're smart to really like In Rainbows though, because I think that might be one of the top. Like, it's just so good.
So like we were talking about with the Dance Gavin Dance.
Yeah.
In Rainbows came out when we were in high school or just out of high school.
Yeah, right.
And so that was my introduction to Radiohead that wasn't Creep.
That was actually mine too.
So like as much as I appreciate the back catalog and everything after it, that record, that album to me speaks more to me because I was introduced to Radiohead by somebody whose music opinion I trusted.
Yeah.
And the whole 9 yards. And that was like, yes, In Rainbows is a fine piece of music.
Yes.
Was like kind of how it was presented to me.
That's so funny because that's exactly my experience too. I think that album, I mean, you had the people who were followed Radiohead past Creep, because even Radiohead doesn't like Creep.
They don't play it.
So like you had people who followed them and continued to listen to them like through their other albums and like OK Computer, everything else too. Because I think that was on Creep was on the Honey, what was that one called? That like it had like the picture of the baby on it, whatever.
Yeah.
But so Eric, my guitar
Pablo
instructor,
Honey.
Pablo Honey, that's it. My guitar instructor showed it to me. He's like, "You got it. Just stop what you're doing. You have to listen to this right now." And he put on In Rainbows for me. He said, "It's available for free, but you can leave $1 donation if you want." And they made $1 million in the first day. And like, it's just so cool. So I was like, okay, like what's this hype about? And like, first it was coming from a reputable story or a reputable person. Second, it had a great story behind it. And third, it just every single song, front to back. The track listing, also very important whenever you're listening to a full album and actually getting your teeth into it.
Yep.
So important. And they just nailed it so well with that album.
That was real quick, funny story about Matchbox 20 album that I got at Record Store Day. I realized as my wife turned it over to the B-side, and I was like, oh, that was just the front of it.
Yeah.
not realizing that the past, I got that was my first CD ever. I never listened past the 7th song.
Mm-hmm.
Knew nothing of the B-side
Yeah.
at all. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
that was like a really weird. Anastasia's like you don't know this song? I was like, to be honest with you, no. I only know the A-side.
Wow. Well, that's like an extra special gift then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More Matchbox 20.
I still think you should have gotten the Nirvana Unplugged live album.
I do know the B-side of that.
But that's a really cool story. I mean, that like you just like had your eyes open to that too.
I think though that is something that we've all wished at one point, is this band or this album in this specific moment in time, and you've consumed every piece of that album, that band, whatever, and all you want is for more of exactly that.
Yeah.
But you're never gonna get it because they moved past it.
Yeah.
I just got a whole half of an album from Matchbox 20.
That is such a huge gift because like you said, like, oh, I have a good example of that, and it's even going back to Brand New. If you owned the CD for Devlin God's Raging Inside Me, they had a pre-gap in that album that if you click rewind on track 1 and hold it in, it takes you back to this secret track, but it's all just voicemails all layered on top of each other. I played that CD in my car on my way to work so many times that it skips. I still have it. It skips because I burnt it out. But somebody showed me that, and I about shit my pants. That there was just anything.
Yeah.
Not even a song. It's just a bunch of layered voicemails. I've listened to this so many times. It's like somebody like opened up another page of the Bible that nobody saw. Like,
right. They were stuck together.
Yeah, they're stuck
about
together.
masturbation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you get like a whole other half of an album. That's fantastic.
What's the one record in your collection, or that is not in your collection, that you're like, I got to get my hands on this?
Oh, it would definitely be right now. It would be The Neighborhood, that first album that they put out. Yeah, absolutely. I
thought you had that.
Nope. Mm-mm. I have
With Sweather Weather?
Yeah. The whole album is fantastic.
Man. Okay.
But I don't have that album.
I thought
Not
you
that
did.
vinyl.
What did you always play when we would come over to your apartment? It was above South Hills Village Music, and it had like a house on it.
American Football.
That's what it is.
That is an album that everybody should listen to. That's just on a different level, and it was so before its time too.
What's the name of the album?
That one is,
hang on,
it might be self-titled because it doesn't say it on the record. There's Skrillex right there. Football rock band.
Oh. Whoops. I forgot sports.
Yeah, I think it's just self-titled.
Yeah, EP?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all self-titled.
They're so badass.
That's awesome.
I love them.
Is it The Neighborhood where the album spells, or they create a sentence?
I
think it is.
I think so, but I just thought that I'm sorry is the first one.
Right.
So I thought that they did that because I'm sorry and I love you are the two most said human phrases in the English
Maybe
language.
that's what it is, and then the next two created a sentence, something like that. There's
Maybe.
like even a hierarchy to their whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just concept albums in general are the best. Oh, that's another one. Deer Hunter, I wish I had their color spectrum on vinyl. That would be
an
sick.
expensive purchase.
It is.
Yes.
I think it was like $250, but like Woody has it.
Of course Woody has
Yeah,
it.
Woody has
sucks.
Woody had he had 2 PS5s and he got 4 COVID vaccines before anybody else did.
Woody.
Yeah.
All right. Shaun Sweeney, thank you for coming on A Great Depression.
Absolutely.
I love you.
Love you too,
This
man.
has been awesome.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about half the things that we could have talked
Oh,
about.
I know. I prepared so much. I have a notebook.
Did not.
No, I didn't bring a notebook.
I had to look though. I was like, does he? No.
Okay.
All right. It's been A Great Depression. Remember, we are now in your brains.
Writing you songs since I can't call your phone. They're piling up in your mailbox while you pretend you're not home. I wrote down every word, I thought through every implication. My hand is in control now, my heart is on vacation. When you sleep with other guys, I wrote down every word, I thought through every implication. My tongue is in control now, my conscience on vacation. Taking the low road, that is for sure. I feel so damn relieved, but nothing to true. I was on dedication means that actually care. But let's be clear, this song took 2 chords, and I had 20 minutes to spare.